Hi, I'm Jungle Jr. with my pal and dad, Ditto.
Welcome to our podcast where we talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. Today, we're going to talk about some listener submitted questions. So let's go to the message. All right, it says, "Hi, Jungle Jr. and Ditto. I loved your first podcast. You have great questions, Ditto, and Jungle Jr. You are clearly a Bengals fan with knowledge of the game. Aw, thank you. I would love to hear your opinion on preseason games. Are they important or not? And how you feel about your draft picks and rookies. So let's take these in two parts. First, let's talk about the preseason. What do you think about the preseason in general, Jungle Jr.?
I think can be like one game shorter.
You think so?
Yeah.
So this year, the Bengals preseason, it's 3 games. The first one's at home on August 10th against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then the second one is away at the Chicago Bears on August 17th. And then the last one is at home on a Thursday against the Indianapolis Colts. So 3 preseason games. And you think that's too many?
Yeah, I think it can be like take away the Colts, then it would be perfect.
Why is 3 preseason games too many?
Because 2 is plenty. A game is like 1 hour of total playing, and that gives more chances of getting injuries before the real season.
Got it. So one of the problems is that you can get injured in preseason games.
Yeah.
Even though the game doesn't matter for the season standing. What are some of the good things about preseason, though?
That they let other people learn how to work with their new teammates.
So letting the players practice with their new teammates?
Yeah.
Getting a chance to work together in a game-like situation?
Yeah.
That's true. But you think 2 is enough for that?
Yeah.
Okay. The 2 preseason games. Having 2 preseason games, is that important, or should we have no preseason?
Preseason.
Okay, so preseason is important. It's just a little too long. Yep. Okay. Well, that's the Jungle Jr. take. All right, let's turn to our draft picks. So this year, the Bengals had 10 draft picks across the 7 rounds of the NFL draft. And their first one was pick number 18, offensive tackle Amarius Mims out of Georgia. And we've talked about this before. He is a big guy. He's 6'7" or 6'8", and he weighs 340 pounds. And some of the Bengals writers and people who've seen him say that he moves like he's smaller, like it's mostly muscle. He's not like a chubby guy. He's just a big guy. So, what do you think of this draft pick for the Bengals? Was this good?
It was a great pick.
Okay. Why do you think it's a great pick?
Because the bigger, the more people he can handle.
So it's going to be hard to get around him, even if they send 2 people at him?
Yeah. He has like a really long wingspan. He can maybe like hold 3 people. One with his belly, one with his arm, one with the other arm.
That would be amazing. I hope we see some highlights of that this year. All right, well, that's Amarius Mims. The second round pick out of the University of Michigan is defensive tackle Chris Jenkins, pick number 49. He's also a pretty big guy. What do you think of this?
I think if you're a pretty big guy, you can handle like 1 and at least a half.
Got it.
1.5 out.
Yeah. So Chris Jenkins' job as a defensive tackle is going to be to try and be in the middle of the defensive line and try to sack the quarterback or tackle the runner. So, do you think he's going to be good at that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so.
Because he will have to defend. He will have to try to get around the center.
Yep.
And the center has to throw it and then get their hands up and their body.
Yeah. So hopefully Chris Jenkins can get off the ball really fast and go tackle that quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. The third pick we talked about a little bit in our first podcast is wide receiver Jermaine Burton. He played at Georgia and at Alabama. Most of his time, I think, was at Alabama. And so, yeah, he's a wide receiver. Pretty big guy. Deep ball threat, what they say. How do you feel about this draft pick?
If he's really good at catching the deep ball, I think he's going to be a really good player.
Yeah, I think that's scary for defenses.
Yes.
Cool. Well, we like scaring defenses.
Yes. We also like scaring offenses when we're on defense.
That's true. Well, the next pick, also in the third round, was nose tackle. Nose tackle McKinley Jackson out of Texas A&M. That's right. And so a nose tackle is a really big guy who goes out there to try and stuff the run and just be really hard for the offensive lineman to move. So what do you think of this pick?
This one's also, like, any linemen are really important. So I think, like, all of the linemen are really good picks.
That's a great point. You know, they do say sometimes that football is won in the trenches, which is really the offensive line versus the defensive line. I think many people agree with you. The lines matter. Okay, the first pick for the Bengals in the fourth round was a tight end, Eric All. He played most recently at Iowa, but was at Michigan before that. He's had some injuries, but he's recovering well. He's doing his rehab for his knee. What do you think about this guy? What is he? He looks
good.
He looks good.
He looks like he can move feet fast.
Move his feet really fast.
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you tell me that he looks like a basketball player?
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully he can jump really high to catch those big passes.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. All right. In the fifth round, the Bengals picked a cornerback, Josh Newton, out of TCU. He was on a team that went to the national championship, I think, although they lost to Georgia.
What?
Yeah. What do you think of Josh Newton?
I think he would be a great player on the Bengals. Like, you at least need 11 people out there. So,
True.
and I think if he catches well, he runs well.
Got it. So he'll be good at trying to get some interceptions, maybe?
Yep.
That sounds awesome. All right.
He's on defense?
Yeah, he's on defense, a cornerback. That's right. All right, this player in round 6 is another tight end, Tanner McLaughlin, out of the University of Arizona. Another tall, athletic guy.
He is a wide receiver?
He's a tight end, so he does a little bit of blocking and a little bit of catching and running.
Oh, and he's a big guy.
And he's a bigger guy, exactly. Okay. What do you think? Good to have more tight ends?
Yep. I love tight ends.
Yep. Oh, and you had asked me about Mitch Wilcox. And so Tanner McLaughlin has number 84, which was Mitch Wilcox's number. So Mitch Wilcox is no longer with the Bengals, unfortunately. But we drafted another tight end. Yeah, he was good, but we're hoping to find someone even better. So we'll see how Tanner McLaughlin does. All right, in round 6, an edge rusher, or a defensive end is what we call it sometimes, Cedric Johnson out of Mississippi. Kind of like Trey Hendrickson or Sam Hubbard. That's the edge position where they try and rush in and get sacks.
Oh, I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, he can sort of give Sam Hubbard or Trey Hendrickson a break and go in and try and get those sacks.
Yeah, like, also that position is really easy. You can just go around everyone and get to the quarterback.
You think that's easy?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to bend back to the quarterback, though, because if you go too far, the quarterback can just step up into where you were before, and then they can go around you, right?
Yeah.
You got to be fast. You got to be able to bend.
You got to be able to find holes before the quarterback can start.
That's right. Exactly.
You have to go through every hole. Every hole.
Mm-hmm. All right, then in the 7th round, the Bengals picked Dijon Anthony, also out of Mississippi, and he plays safety. So he's he's on the defense towards the back, trying to defend against the wide receivers going too deep, or also coming up and tackling runners. Yeah, okay.
On defense, I'm a safety.
When you play football on defense, you're a safety?
Yeah.
Got it. So what do you think of Dijon Anthony?
Good. Good player.
Excellent. All right, and then the last pick of the draft for the Bengals, with pick 237, is a center, Matt Lee, out of Miami. And so he is going to back up Ted Karras and learn from him.
He's the backup.
He will be the backup center, I believe. What do you think
I
about
hope-
that?
Like, the center really matters. Whoever's faster to get up, I think, should be.
Yeah. So he should compete with Ted Karras?
Yeah, I think them two should compete.
That makes sense. Got it. Well, that is the whole draft class for the Bengals this year in 2024. And so these players have started reporting to their rookie minicamp, and they're doing some organized team activities in the offseason. So I think that'll be good. All right, there's one other piece of mail about our last episode where we talked about the schedule. Also from this same listener who let us know that the Bengals actually do play on Thanksgiving weekend. I was wrong. Thanksgiving is on November 28th, and the Bengals will play just a few days later on December 1st. So thanks for that correction. I knew I was going to get that wrong. So yeah, and then let me see if we have any other listener mail. 1 second. Okay. So we did get one other piece of listener mail from someone else. They thought it was really funny when Jungle Jr., you said, I think we were talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, we're gonna lose. So they thought that was funny. And then also talking about what stadiums to go visit, they say that the Panthers Stadium is great. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So that's something for us to think about when we look at games to go try and visit. All right. I think that does it for our listener mail so far. Hopefully folks send in more, but that will be all for today's episode. In future episodes, we're going to talk about some of the new players that the Bengals also signed in free agency, the other players who aren't rookies who are coming in. And then maybe we'll talk about how the offseason practices are looking. So does that sound good, Jungle Jr.?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it for today.
Thanks for listening.
You can email us at ditto@junglejuniorpod.com with ideas or feedback. We love to talk about listener questions.
Until next time, I'm Jungle Jr.
And I'm Ditto.
Hoo day.